More people die in New Jersey than ever this year, a 20% increase, so this epidemic is not going away. So yeah, we have to call it a crisis because that's what it is. It's the #1 health crisis in the United States.
We're fighting the opioid epidemic by creating connection, building courage, and giving hope. The goal of connectedness is to build a community, and a community supports the youth on the front end so that they don't go down that path, and it also creates connectedness on the other end for people who are in recovery and trying to re-enter the community.
I know people who have had multiple experiences losing a friend or family member to something like this. If one single person is educated or positively affected by the work that we're doing here, that means the whole world.
And so we urge everybody in this community to get involved, whether it's through volunteering or making a donation to our mission. We can't fight this fight alone. We need your help.
Good evening. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight to our virtual fundraiser, Diners, Demos, and Donations. My name is Andy Williams. I'm Executive Director of Community in Crisis, and I have not lost a wink of sleep all week about this, not a bit.
And I'm Chuck Hendershot, a proud supporter to Community in Crisis. I'm just here to keep my friend Andy on task. But before we get started, let's hear from some friends and our celebrity guest. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Hello. Yes, it is me. But I'm here tonight to help Community in Crisis roll out this year's virtual fundraiser, Dinners, Demos and Donations. Yeah? I would have been there in person, but I couldn't. Not because I've got another date at the Golden Globes. I got fired from that. But their loss. So, yeah? Community in Crisis have great staff and volunteers. You know, they help keep kids safe and healthy with substance use prevention education, with volunteer events and community projects. They're brilliant, you know. They're really worried about all the kids vaping nicotine and other nasty things. They're always, you know, you don't know what's in there, do you? But they do a ton of education at schools and in the community to help kids stay safe. It's brilliant. You know, CIC also help people in recovery. There's no end to their kindness. You know, they've got these cooking classes as well. I don't think they cook black pudding because that's for vampires. But they learn how to cook some healthy stuff with 2 British chefs over here, Nick and Martin. Yeah, they used to work at the Dorchester Hotel on Park Lane in London. In fact, when I stayed there, they cooked for me once. Yeah, I think I got food poisoning after that, but that's between us. They're also really worried about all those awesome people in recovery because they need to see their peeps, you know, and come to the meetings. It's just helpful. CIC have online meetings now as well, 21 a week to be exact, but it's not the same, is it? You know, so we need you to step up and put your hands in your pockets and help them out. You know, Andy Williams, the executive director, she is a personal friend of mine, yeah, called me up and said, "Oh, Ricky, we need to help people. We need lots more funding because of the virus. And then our fundraiser was cancelled at the Berners Inn. And then my mum cancelled her trip to come and see me from England. Oh, there's a little violin. Pathetic, yeah? But we need people to help with donations, you know, because we've got so much work to do, you know. We can't do it without you lot donating. But tonight's not about me, it's not about them, it's about all you listening in tonight, yeah? We're all affected in one way or another by this disease, whether it's you, your mum, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, your neighbour's dog, your neighbour's parrot if they've got one. Yeah, addiction knows no bounds. Yeah, it's behind everyone's closed doors. So open up those doors. Yeah? You know, and open up your bloody wallet. Make a meaningful gift to this incredible cause. You know, I know they've got some special prizes as well as giveaways. I'm not supposed to tell you between us, but I think they've got some pretty nifty chef jackets, and some recipe books, for the people that donate the most. Put a few quid in. You never know, you might win something. Okay? Enjoy.
Thanks, Ricky, for taking the time to join us. It's midnight in the UK, so we really appreciate you taking your time with us. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for tuning in tonight. We know there's a lot of places that take your attention, and we're glad that you're here with us to share the next 45 minutes. Lined up, we have some heartwarming stories, some fun, a cooking demo, and a few messages from some special friends. Many thanks to Lois and Neil Gagnon for again being our presenting sponsors for this virtual event. We wish it was in person at the beautiful historic Bernard's Inn, but we'll look forward to that next year when we can all be in the same space together. I'm Jody D'Agostini. I'm chairman of the board and the founder of Community in Crisis. We started this in December of 2013 following the overdose deaths of two friends of my daughter Annie's just 2 days apart. Through her tears, she called me from college, inconsolable, and said, "Mom, how many more are we going to lose before someone does something about it?" That was our call to action. We assembled a group of committed volunteers and put together an evidence-based approach towards handling addiction, and in particular, the opioid epidemic. We got together a group of volunteers and had 7 working groups and got to work. It's a it takes a village approach towards it, which involves the entire community. Our areas of focus are substance use prevention education, primarily geared towards youth and families, recovery and sobriety support programs and initiatives, and the exportation of our toolkit of successful programs and resources which we created in partnership with the Ernest Mario Rutgers School of Pharmacy and the Horizon Foundation. Most recently, we have been blessed with the wonderful gift of a new home thanks to the Margaret A. Darren Charitable Trust. Our new permanent home is located just around the corner in the heart of Bernardsville and will serve our communities for years to come. This is such an exciting time to be involved with Community in Crisis. Now I'd like to hand it over to Ken Musgrove, Community in Crisis Director of Recovery Support.
Thank you, Jody. Hi, everyone. My name is Ken Musgrove. I'm a person in long-term recovery. For me, that means I've not found it necessary to take a drink or a drug since October 1st of 2011, 9 years ago today. I'm especially grateful to be in sobriety and the Director of Recovery Support here at Community in Crisis. My own story starts with a sense of community. Growing up the youngest of 6, a family in Brooklyn, I knew that I was loved. Neighbors looked out for neighbors and family was always present. When I was 8 years old, my mom died. My father had a resultant nervous breakdown and my sense of community was destroyed. I was uprooted, placed in foster care, and began to push others away for fear of being abandoned once again. When I began using alcohol and drugs at the age of 12, it seemed to fill a void. It filled a hole in my soul. Several personal tragedies, my father's suicide at 15, a brother's early death, and being widowed at 37 caused me to be jaded and hopeless to the point 10 years ago that I actively tried to take my own life because I felt that I wouldn't be missed, that my life had no purpose. It was almost a year later, on October 1st, 2011, that I was finally separated from alcohol and began my journey of recovery. Not easy at first, but slowly I was able to put back together the pieces of a broken life. However, something was missing. It had lost its spark. It no longer filled me with meaning. I began to think that perhaps all the tragedies that I had lived through had prepared me to help others. I took a leap of faith and left my career job, working hourly overnight and volunteering during the days. There were times when I was exhausted and I questioned my decision, but deep down I knew that everything was going to be all right. It was in my time volunteering that I was introduced to CIC. I had volunteered with a number of different organizations, but I intuitively knew that CIC was something special. Their mission met my purpose. I started here in January 2020, trying to build a recovery community. Like everyone else, I was sidetracked by the pandemic. However, I'm proud to say that we never missed a beat in going from physical to virtual. In fact, we actually increased the number of meetings that we offer online. We have held over 400 meetings, impacting several hundred people since the pandemic began. Every meeting that we offer online has the same guiding principle as those in person. We offer a sense of safety, intimacy, and community. It's a place where someone who's been there can speak to someone who is there, and the spark of recovery can be lit, and just as importantly, sustained. Although we remain physically distant, we remain socially and spiritually engaged, and community will be our cure for this crisis. Every day we continue to move from a community in crisis to a community in connection, and your generosity makes that possible. Thank you for all you do.
Ken, thank you so much for sharing your story, and happy Soberversary. 9 years, that's a huge milestone. We are all so proud of you, and you bring so much to our team at Community in Crisis, so thank you. I think it would be a great idea if people watching were to donate $9 a month in honor of Ken. What do you think about that?
I think it's a fantastic idea. Or 90, just saying, or 90.
90
We're here
would
to
be
raise
great
money.
too. That would be great.
All right, next up, Jabeen and Nick. They're juniors in high school right now. I think Jabeen is in Ridge High, correct?
Correct.
Nick is right here in Bernards, and they are volunteer to your middle school hub club. Tell us a little bit about it.
So the Middle School Hub Club is one of my favorite programs. It's a community service program for middle school children to come to us once a week, and they do a community service project, but also learn about some prevention education that we hope equips them with some tools for the real life.
Fantastic. Jabeen and Nick, it's all yours.
So Community in Crisis is a local organization that fosters healthy lifestyles for both adults and adolescents. We provide education on prevention and substance abuse for elementary, middle school, high school students.
The dynamic way of teaching is definitely something that I've never seen before, and it's a great impact on the community, and it definitely helps raise awareness. It does stuff that sometimes schools don't.
Personally, I love working with kids, so I love volunteering at the Hub Club program, and I think just being able to see the kids have an outlet to do crafts and learn about the lessons that we teach them, I think that's probably the most rewarding thing.
What helps this work so well is that you have active youth working with these kids too. It's not only just parents, blah, 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 don't do this, don't do that. It's different. And I think that really helps convey the message to them as well. So I think definitely the most rewarding is teaching these kids in a dynamic way that they may not get anywhere else.
Jabeen and Nick, thank you so much for agreeing to tell us a little bit about your role with Community in Crisis. And thank goodness for you, because sometimes we have as many as 30 kids at the Community Hub, and I don't know what we'd do without you. So thank you so much.
What a fantastic program. The Hub Club.
Yes.
Can I go into the money thing now?
If you want to, that sounds
So
like a good
speaking
idea.
of Hub Club, we're going to start there. Let's start talking about where your money goes and what services are brought about with this. So $250 pays for a student to attend Middle School Hub Club, where they learn about healthy and informed decisions and choices. So in my household, a healthy and informed decision will probably be me consulting with my wife before I let the kids bring the snake in the house, as you heard, right? So what does that mean in your house, meaning Community in Crisis?
Well, we don't have to deal with any snakes. That's never been an issue so far. But healthy and informed decisions, that's really our take on it, is that when the kids are with us, we can give them some kind of prevention education, which when they leave us each and every time, we feel that we've added a layer of protection, so that when they are out, they know that they don't have to necessarily succumb to peer pressure, and they are good enough as who they are. So we just give them enough education so that they can maybe say no, hopefully say no, because they know why.
Yeah, well, a good example of that would actually be vaping.
Vaping's a great example. It's so prevalent and such a concern at the moment.
And by the way, $150 pays for vaping education presentations for
Correct.
the schools. And you told me you've had as many as 150 people at one presentation? But
Well,
you did 40
yeah.
over the course of a year.
Correct, yeah. So last year we offered over 40 presentations in the schools and to educators and students. And at times we had as many as 150 kids listening in. $150, 150 kids.
$1 a kid. So if you donate right now, we'll be able to see it right here on the screen. And by the way, there's a lot of people with the same last name again.
Donating.
Donating, Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous. Grandpa
That's a
Anonymous.
huge family.
That's
Thank
a
you
really
so
big
much,
family.
everybody. And there's Frank Coppola, Coppola Brothers Construction.
Thank you, Frank.
$250. That's a Hub Club.
Hub Club.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Frank.
Frank.
We really appreciate that.
Next up is $500. $500 sponsorship pays for a person in recovery for 4 weeks of chef classes. And before you go on, I was on your website. I
Yep.
didn't tell you this. I was on your website looking up the chef classes. And
Yes.
I thought I saw your husband in a dress. Luckily, it was just an apron. I mean, not just an apron. He had other clothes on. He wasn't walking around with his bum hanging out.
He's often in a dress, though. behind
That's for
closed
home.
doors. Yeah.
You didn't hear that.
No.
I won't say anything, Nick.
Sorry, Nick.
But chef on site,
Yep.
4 weeks of training, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Hub Club, by the way, is 6 weeks of training at the Middle School Hub Club. 4 weeks of training by Nick in his apron. Tell us all about it.
Well, Nick approached us about doing this because he has always loved cooking and it gives him, he really relaxes when he does it. And he thought it would be a really good way for individuals in recovery to find an outlet, like a therapeutic outlet. And he roped in his friend Martin, another British chef. So the two of them volunteer their time in our cooking classes and they have an awesome time all together. It's really about socialization, but also about learning a skill or maybe a hobby. I mean, it's just a wonderful program and one of our
Absolutely.
favorites, yes.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
And on to another favorite, $750 Leadership Council.
Youth Leadership Council.
Youth Leadership Council.
That's right.
And this is the high schools. By the way, Jabin, right, and
Yep.
Nick are
Yep.
part of the Youth Leadership Council. And
Yep, so
my favorite part,
Oh, so
we were joking about this before.
I would imagine it's your favorite part, probably because you have about 15 of your own children in high school.
No, not 15. Molly and Luke did graduate, so that was 13.
All right, so 13. All right, so $750 pays for an annual membership to our Youth Leadership Council. And so like Jabin and Nick, so they come to us at the Hub and they help us really with prevention strategies, ones that they feel will really resonate with their peers and with middle schoolers. And they also help us craft marketing messages on social media that other kids will look at and actually read as opposed to something that I might come up with. So they really are terribly valuable to us.
Fantastic. Youth Leadership Council, $750, okay? Oh, there's another one.
Oh, thank you so much. Kelly Peter Paul, we really appreciate your donation. Thank you.
They heard it too over there.
I
They're
know,
clapping.
look
I
at
love it.
that.
I don't know if you can hear them clapping.
Yeah, the B
but
team.
Awesome. Thank you for your donations. On to the $1,000 one.
Oh yeah, this is a
Narcan
biggie.
training.
Yep.
I love this. Narcan training for 10 people, and it includes the 10 kits. Tell us about that.
So this is really important right now. With the pandemic hitting us all so hard, it seems to have also hit the recovery community. Connection is really key to individuals in recovery, and of course that isn't happening for everybody right now. And so we are beginning to see overdose rates spiking and tragically overdose relapse rates too. So Narcan is super important at the moment. And so the more people we can train, the more people are saved.
So tell us what it does.
So it reverses an opioid antidote. It's an opioid antidote that reverses an opioid overdose. Yeah. So it's super important.
Very, very important.
And you know what we forgot to mention? The 100% thing.
I love
You
that part.
love this.
My favorite part. 100% of the money you donate goes
right where it's intended to
right where it's supposed to
programs
go.
and services. So nothing towards admin. So 100% of your donation goes right where it's intended. And for certain donor levels,
I was going to mention, can we mention this stuff back here?
So, thanks to Chefware, a professional chefware company for attire, we have jackets and shirts available for levels, I think, of 500 and above. And we also have Ashton Keefe's recipe book. Thank you, Vanna. Which goes to donors.
I just got that.
Donors $250 and above. So let's see those donations come rolling in, and we will. You'll be available. These will be available for pickup at the Hub.
Awesome. So we're going to kick it back off to Guy Fieri. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Ashton, actually, and Neil Gagnon. Gagnon? How do you pronounce that?
I'm leaving you with that one. It's all yours.
Sounds very familiar. Very
I think you
familiar.
should know. I think you should
And
know.
a very heartwarming testimonial. We'll see you in a few.
Hey everybody, I'm Guy Fieri, and I'm here tonight to help Community in Crisis roll out this year's virtual fundraiser. It's a fundraiser, baby. Diners, demos, and donations. You'll be glad you joined us because tonight we're kicking it up into high gear for a full force fundraising extravaganza, baby, to help support their work. Now, I would have been here in person, but you know, that just ain't possible as we stick to a strict diet of sanitizers, masks, and social distancing. But I can still bring the bling. It's out of bounds and totally off the hook. Community in Crisis is an amazing grassroots organization driven by passionate people, their staff, and their passionate volunteers. They help keep kids safe and healthy with substance use prevention education. They also dish out some awesome social programs for the people in recovery. Hey, these cats at CIC are creating connection, building courage, and giving hope, and dishing out help. So tonight, we're stepping into the ridiculous zone with some of the greatest, most caring, righteously awesome individuals at CIC. Smack dab in the middle of New Jersey, they've been keeping it real with some serious community outreach. Now, listen, this pandemic is having a devastating effect on some of our friends and family. With relapses and overdoses, those rates are at an all-time high. Now, sadly, that's the real deal right now. Community in Crisis needs your help and dollars tonight to help teach kids how to make healthy choices and support hundreds of cool cats in recovery. We got some special prizes and giveaways for our generous donors, so stay tuned and let's turn up the heat on the deep fryer, baby. In just a few minutes, we're off to the Flavortown section of New York City, Greenwich Village, to an apartment of a very special friend of mine, Ashton Keefe. Ashton is a chef and food stylist extraordinaire who will be cooking up some delicious food, serving some funkylicious fusion right to you in your living room. Hey, you can't beat that with a stick unless that stick is made of cheese and you deep fry it. All right, let's get going, baby. Love, peace, and taco grease. Ashton, take it away.
Hi, my name is Ashton Keefe, and I am a chef, food stylist, and friend of Community in Crisis. I'm so excited to be a part of this year's event and welcome you. Tonight we're going to do a lot of great fundraising. We're going to make some good food. We're going to hear from some amazing people. And the mission of tonight's event is not only to raise awareness, but to raise money to help support those that suffer from addiction in our community. So what I like to do to give back is to invite people into my kitchen and to feed them. And tonight I am making my sausage linguine and clams for everybody, which is the perfect meal to have in the upcoming months when it starts to get a little bit colder, or you're having friends over for the holidays, and it's amazing. So to get started, I've got my water boiling back here. I hope it's boiling back here. And it's boiling back here. I'm gonna salt my pasta water so that it's as salty as the ocean. This is the only opportunity you get to season your pasta, so you want to do that right away. And I'm using dried linguine. You can use any type of pasta that you want. This is just kind of traditional. So I'm going to throw a pound of linguine in my pasta. To get started on our sauce, what we're going to do is I'm going to use 4 shallots. So this is actually a fair amount of shallots. We want lots of flavor. These are big shallots. Okay, so we're going to take the papery outside off my shallots, and I'm just going to slice these. Make my life easier today. We're also gonna put some garlic in there, and we're using a cool sausage, Nduja, and it's a spreadable salami paste, and you can get it anywhere you get regular sausage. What I like about it is that for pasta, it won't have little crumbles in the pasta. It'll just be nice and smooth and make a great sauce. So you'll see it's like in this tube and it's squishy. So that's gonna get sauteed up with our shallots and our garlic. Okay. So my shallot and my garlic, whoo, that was potent, are nice and sliced up. I'm gonna turn my saute pan onto medium heat while my eyes water, and I'm gonna add a couple glugs of olive oil. So just around the pan 1 or 2 times. Don't be afraid of olive oil. And I'm gonna add my shallots and my garlic right to the pan. And I'm gonna let this saute for a minute or 2. So like I said, Nduja, you can get it pretty much anywhere now. You can order it on Amazon too. I mean, you can buy a baby on Amazon, so. There we go. And you'll see it's like spreadable paste. It's really cool and delicious. So I'm just gonna squeeze it into my sauce, just like this. And then I'm gonna grab a wooden spoon, and you'll see that this sausage will just start to break up like you break up regular sausage and become the base for this beautiful sauce. And now we're gonna add just a really fun ingredient. We're gonna use the rosé. So I'm using a rosé from France. You can use a rosé from anywhere. I like the lighter color. Since it's gonna have clams in it, I think it goes really well with the seafood. So I'm using something from Provence. It's a $10 bottle, but it's something I would drink too. And there's not really like a fast and hard rule on how much to add, but I'm gonna add about, I'm gonna say about a 1/4 cup. There. That was like a good pour. That was like a mom pour. Okay, so that's gonna hang out, and we're gonna let our rosé reduce to about half. And what this is gonna do is concentrate all the flavor. It's again gonna give it a nice shine, and it's gonna marry really well with our seafood. So now it's time for our clams. We're using little neck clams. I say little neck clams or cockles or New Zealand clams are sometimes called, but we're using 2 dozen of them, and then we're gonna put a lid on top of it, and they're gonna steam and open, and we're gonna toss with our pasta. Okay, so let's check on these clams. You see our clams are nice and open, and you're smelling, I can smell the spiciness of the sausage. It's really beautiful. Now what I like to do is I actually take out a few of my clams so that I can top the dish with them. So I took out 6, essentially. And what I'm gonna do is just top them so they look really pretty in there. So my clams are open, and now this is where the magic happens. We're gonna use that pasta water, and how Italians really do it is they take it from the pasta, just like this. You'll go straight into here. Okay, I think that's good. If you have a little bit extra, don't worry about it. And now it's time for the cheese. Okay. I'm gonna let that cook for a second. And now my last ingredient is parsley for a little bit of green. And I'm gonna give this a nice chop. So I'm using the stems and the leaves. I'm not worried about making it really perfect or pretty because we're just looking for a little color with this. Okay, so I've got about a cup of parsley. It's gonna go right in here. And give this a nice toss. And that is how you style a bowl of pasta like an Italian and like a food stylist. And like somebody who wants to take a bite right now. I hope you enjoy these tips and you use them on your friends and family because there's no better dish to share with people than pasta.
Good evening. My wife and I have been supporting Community in Crisis since its beginning. We met Jody and Andy and found out the very good work they were doing, bringing the story of being addicted to children in our area. We're presenting sponsors again this year. We're happy to do that. And they do such a good job telling the story to young children. One of my grandchildren, actually we have 19 grandchildren, went to one of their classes and really enjoyed it. So they're telling the story about opioids and vaping, and it's a story that needs to be constantly told. With the COVID virus, there seeing their funding under pressure. So we're helping, and we suggest that you should help also. That's our message this evening. Thank you.
We were in somewhat of a bad place because by now we didn't know what was going on with our daughter, but it was kind of like, how would we even start, mentioning publicly what we were going through? Community in Crisis really spoke to me like that was kind of like what I was looking for. And when I called, Lindy was so welcoming and so warm on the phone. We figured because it's free, I didn't expect what we really, what was waiting on us when we went there. It was more than I expected.
First of all, I'm not one that will just pour out my feelings like that to everybody. And it was the only place that I went to that made me feel comfortable in doing that. Our daughter, which we hadn't seen at the time for maybe over 2 years, I just didn't know where she was. You sit down to eat and you're wondering if she's having something to eat as well as she has a meal or she has somewhere to sleep. It was just...
We were in a bad place.
It was just a trying time,
And I thought that I was going to be, in opening up, I would go somewhere where I would be heavily judged on how we raised our daughter. And that was far from it, So we also learned too that, these things happen and it's not necessarily from the way she was raised.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really, I'm happy we got the opportunity to do this.
Anne-Marie and Kenton, thank you so much for sharing your heartwarming story. And we're so glad that we were able to help you and Camille. Our family support group's been a great support to so many people over the last few years.
And by the way, speaking of family support group, $45 donation goes towards the family support group. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, that pays for one family to go to one session of family support group where they learn tips and tools on how to navigate a loved one's substance use disorder. So it's been really of a great support to many.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. And another one, by the way, I hope I can get on this one day. I hope you bring the age group down. But for $100, pays for 5 adults, 65 on up, 65. Can you bring it down to 47? On how to manage chronic pain without the use of opiates. Tell us about it.
So that's a prevention education program series that we roll out. And so it really helps people understand how to safely keep medications in their home, dispose of medications, and also how it's important not to reach for a pill every time you feel pain, but maybe to explore alternative pain management solutions. So it's pretty important. Yeah.
And I'm going to get off script a little bit, but we just talked about Dina and Brenda, your friends, and the bereavement group.
Yes.
Okay, so I enjoyed that story. I think your audience would like it too.
Well, Dina and Brenda are two wonderful ladies who came into our life. They both are mothers of 2 young men who tragically lost their lives to opioid overdose some years back. And they approached us and said, we want to help. And they want to help others who have walked the same path as they have. So they started a bereavement group for Community in Crisis, and it's been going very well, and it's been of great support to so many. And recently they played a huge role in actually putting together Recovery Month, the month of September, in bathing the community hub in purple light and putting out 14 posters of young adults who'd lost their lives to opioid overdose. And it's been amazing just being at work and watching the people filtering by. I mean, I've seen people in tears with tissues. One beautiful woman, she put roses out in front of each of those posters to really honor those lost to overdose. So it's been a beautiful month, thanks to them.
So on Route 202 in front of the old Burnsville Library, where their location is, she's referring to the posters you see up in front there.
Right,
correct?
we took them down on yesterday, yeah.
It was up there
The end
for
of
a
the
month.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important that we get your help and raise some money, because unfortunately COVID has made it very difficult to fundraise, and their services are needed more than ever right now. So if you can, how's it go? Text to do what? Text
Yeah,
to give?
so there's a number going across the screen throughout the evening, and I do not remember what it is. And you need to, you can text the word give to that number, and it will take you straight to our donation platform, and we would be so grateful. And by the way, the donations are pouring in. They are pouring in. We are so overwhelmed with love and gratitude for everything you are doing. Peter Olson, go buddy. Thank you so much. Nancy Lipka, oh my goodness. Jeff Jagila, thank you so much. Dottie and David, thank you. Gosh, there's
saw
so
my wife
many
go
of
through
them.
the screen here.
Amy
My wife,
Hendershot,
Amy?
she rings a bell.
Yeah, I know her.
Mary Jane Canos, our wonderful mayor in Bonusville. Thank you, Mary Jane. Wonderful.
My friends
We're so
Dolinsky's
grateful.
donated. Wow, this is great.
And the Beckers.
Thank you.
They are pouring in, guys. Please join us in supporting community in crisis.
What is our goal?
75,000. Although the CEO would say 100.
I've been saying 100.
Yeah, you're
I've been
with
telling them
Jody.
100.
You're with Jody.
Well,
I'm 70. I'd be
optimistic.
happy with 75.
I'm
Come on.
optimistic because I know that somebody out there is going to watch this and say, that's a really good looking couple there. And they're doing a bang up job. And they're going to make up the difference if we come up short. So if we
Right.
come up short at the end of this, we're going to say what it is, and someone's going to make up that difference.
Right. And don't forget, you get a recipe book and also maybe a chef's jacket
That's right.
with certain levels of
And
donating.
that's worth making up the difference right there. right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So listen, I was also thinking the other day, because it's so difficult to fundraise, and obviously COVID has affected organizations like yours and affected people personally. But I was thinking the other day, I was like, wow, my favorite coffee, 20 times a month I must get it, costs $5.31. That's over $100 right there. So I was thinking, if I have 20, 30, 40, 50 friends, family members, business owners watching this right now, I would want you to follow me and do this with me. I'm going to push my coffee aside. I'm not pulling money out of my pocket. I'm transferring the money I spend here, and I'm going to put it here each month for 12 months. So if that's $120 a month, and I'll figure it out, it's probably going to be $120 a month. I'm going to do that for 12 months. And if I get 30 other people just to do that, I think we'll surpass your goal of $75,000, probably close in on $100,000. So think about it. I don't want you to feel guilty to do it. I want you to feel good about doing it like I do. This makes me, if you can see my arms, I have chills going up my arms, up my back. The hair on my back is standing up.
What hair? Uh-huh.
I got a lot of hair on my back, man. Ask my wife. Ask Amy. She's on here. I want you to do what I'm doing. I want you to think of something that you can discard that costs money, that you don't need, and put it here for 12 months. If we do that, we will surpass our goal.
I like that idea.
That sound good?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Who's up? If you're in and you're watching this live, just type in that I'm in right on that Facebook post.
Monthly recurring donations.
Monthly recurring donation.
That's
Text
what
to
we
give. Do it. You can do it right on there. I'm going to do it when we're finished here. I'm going to go in for the 120 and cancel out the expensive coffee I was buying. I'll have to go to ShopRite and get something cheaper.
Just
I
stop by
guess.
the hub. We have it for free.
I will. I'll get the Keurig.
There you go.
I love that. All right. So
Coming
it's
up.
time.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. We are. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn it over to some board members, have some messages for us. We have some bloopers at the end, and we're going to be back to close it out. So we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so very much for joining us today for diners, demos, and donations to support community in crisis. I'm Lauren Lewick, a very proud board member, and while I'm not especially qualified to talk too much about the first two parts of the title of our event, I do think I'm uniquely qualified to speak to you this afternoon about why community in crisis is deserving of your donation and your ongoing support. You see, I've volunteered over the last 20 years for many very outstanding charitable causes in our area. But I'm at a point in life where I'm really very selective about how and where I give my time and my financial support. And for me, there's really no question. It's community in crisis. And that's for a very simple reason. It's because of the tremendous impact this grassroots, community-led effort is making. Instead of lecturing to young people in middle and high school about the dangers of drug and alcohol use, Community in Crisis brings them here to the hub to learn by doing and to get engaged in helping others. They write letters of hope and encouragement to veterans who have struggled with substance use disorders. They make ice packs to give to people as an alternative to prescription pills for pain. And they come up with their own effective, age-appropriate ways of talking to their peers about these issues, and they take those back to their schools. And for the people who didn't have the good fortune of having a community hub that they could go to when they were kids and who are now struggling in recovery, we have social programs that both soothe the soul and bring people together in positive ways. Things like yoga and mindfulness and meditation workshops, musical coffee houses, and cooking classes. There's really no way to overstate the importance of these gatherings in helping people in recovery feel the warm embrace of community. And we know that makes a difference. Getting high-quality medical and behavioral health treatment is absolutely essential. But having a social support system is equally important in a person's recovery from substance use disorder. Those personal support systems, as we all know, have been truly shaken during this pandemic. So the work that Community in Crisis does has never been more crucial or more needed. We're incredibly grateful for the generous federal and state grants that we've received that have enabled us to have our amazing staff and these wonderful facilities where we can gather as a community. But it's your gift today that will help us continue to provide the programs that give people throughout our community the education, the fellowship, the acceptance, and the encouragement that they need to get and stay healthy and lead lives free of substance abuse. So please give generously, and we thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, and thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. It's very meaningful to have you share your evening with us. Hopefully you'll feel our cause is worthy of your dollars. With mental health crises and overdose rates peaking at an all-time high, our support of both families and individuals has never been more critical. But we can't do it without your help. Please consider giving generously by texting GIVE to 908-224-6606 or by visiting communityincrisis.org to help us reach our goal. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Have an alternative for prescription pain. That wasn't a good paragraph.
Okay, let's go.
Just got to speak up.
I'm trying to figure this out.
Jody, seriously, put the flowers down. We need to get you on video. Come on.
What was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought.
Let's do this.
Okay, here we go. Guy Fieri, take one, baby. This is the teaser. This is the teaser, baby.
Ryan, where are you going?
I got this all under control. I took home ec in high school.
Ryan, it's virtual.
Thank you.
It was a truck.
It was.
Which involves the entire community.
I mean, can Jody really follow Ricky? I mean, he's so funny.
Thank you for all you do. The end.
Thank you all so very much. Hundreds of you have joined us tonight for our diners, demos, and donations. And I'm so very grateful to you for tuning in. And also, for all the donors. We've had so many donations this evening. I'm not sure where we are with the total, but it will be published tomorrow. We've been overwhelmed with your support, and we can't thank you enough. But most of all, it would be remiss of me not to thank once again Neil and Lois Gagnon. We love you so much, our presenting sponsors. Thank you so much.
I knew I recognized them. Now
There
I know
you
it.
go.
I
Now
know
the
it.
name rings a
Okay,
bell.
got it.
And by the way, I can't let the evening end without thanking Chuck, my sidekick and support. So thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
All right.
It was a fun evening. There's still time to donate. Text to give. You can still do it. This video, all of this is being recorded, and it will be available for a week?
A week.
A week. So you can still donate. And thank you. Somebody just said, there was a post on there that said, I'm in to the, we're going to call it the $100 a month club. Can we call it that?
Sure.
We just
if you
made that
want
up. So if you want to join me, hopefully a few other business owners, they said Lane, I bet it's Dan Lane. I talked to him today, and he said he's definitely in.
Cool.
So I already called him and said, are you going to do this with me? I'm going to do the $100 a month club. She didn't know about the month club.
I didn't.
She didn't know anything. So I'm looking for 30 people to join me. The $100 a month club. We'll probably meet once a month and hang out and have some fun. Bring you with us to educate us more on community and crisis. This has been amazing. It's so eye-opening to me because I had to learn all of this in a few days.
You're amazing.
Crash course. And
Yeah.
I've learned so much in 3 days. I'm blown away. I didn't pay attention to it sooner
Yeah.
to this great of detail.
Yeah.
I was paying attention to it. We were helping in the sidelines, but now I really know what's going on. This is amazing. And you know what? It could happen to anybody. These issues that they're discussing could happen to anybody. And I have, how many kids do I have?
I just don't know. I don't think you do either.
Yeah, I don't know, but we have a lot.
Yeah.
And something, it could happen to us. So I have to be mindful of this and pay attention. And I believe we are out of time.
And can I just take the day off tomorrow, Chuck? I'm done.
You done?
Okay, yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.